With the sides mounted on the boards, it's now time to go back and give this thing a nice sand. I'll probably hit it with some 100 and then some 220, get it all nice and smooth all the way around the top, the outside edges, and then we'll go back and build a couple of legs for each of the boxes. The legs of the cornhole board need to hold the top end of the board about 12 inches off the ground. So what I'm going to do is take these pieces of pine, 3/4 inch pine, I'm going to rip them right down the center, and then I'll angle the ends of them just a little bit, and I'll attach them to the top corners, inside top corners of the board, so when you flip them out, the board will be 12 inches off the ground at the back end. I ran these boards through the table saw and cut them down to about 1.5 inches. I decided to go with a smaller leg or a thinner leg, and the reason why is the thickness of this tabletop was so much that these boards are quite heavy, so I thought I would try a little smaller board for the legs to shave a little bit of weight, not much, but a little. If there's any problems with these, it'll be simple to unbolt them and put a more substantial leg underneath the boards. I held the top end of my cornhole board off of the table at about 12 inches. And I drew a line along the side of my board. You can see that right here. When I put that on the miter saw and adjust it, I came out to about 16.5 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this leg at 16.5 degrees, and then I'm going to go back and put it under the miter saw and test and see if the height is proper. I don't know how well you can see this, but I am about 1/4 inch too tall. So basically I'm just going to nick about 1/4 inch off of the top of my leg, and then I'm going to cut the other 3 legs the exact same length. I stacked all the legs and taped them up. I initially had a clamp on there, but I didn't have a clamp that would clear the bed of my miter saw. So what I'm going to do now, I've set the saw back to 0 degrees. I'm just going to match up with the leg that's cut proper and chop the others off. Ready to mount my legs, and in order to get them to rotate, I'm going to have to round over the bottom corners. In order to round over the edges of the legs, I've chosen a washer, and I'm going to use that as a template. And then I'll take this to my disc sander and round the edges over. I've come up with an idea for mounting the legs. I'm going to drill a hole right through the side of the sideboard. I'll use one of these carriage bolts. Now these are way too long, but that's nothing a Dremel tool won't fix. I'll place a washer on the inside, then I'll place one of the legs and a washer on the outside of the leg along with a lock nut. I'll then take a piece of this maple, I'll cut a little square off of it, drill a hole, and I'll drive this nut into it, making a little knob. And I'll use that knob on the inside to tighten the leg in the open position, and then I can drop the leg down and tighten it in the closed position, and that should hold the legs and keep them from flopping around. So let's see how this works out. I need to drill a hole through the center of all 4 of my feet at the pivot point so I can mount them to my sideboard and allow them to properly raise and lower. The idea I came up with is this is the washer that I used to develop the curve at the end of each of the feet. I went through my junk drawer and I found another washer that is exactly 1/4 of an inch, so it'll fit my bolt perfectly. But what's better, it fits inside of the original washer. So all I need to do is trace the center hole of that washer on each of my legs. And now I've got the perfect pivot point